Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and this is Sly Jesse with me here.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good too. So, we're going to talk more about War Z, the state of War Z, the fluctuating state of War Z, the prison state of War Z, the understated War Z, everything that has state in it. So I think that the biggest thing that's on everyone's mind right now is the fact that the death timer has changed. And so it went from 1 hour to 4 hours, which I so painfully found out live streaming. And the well, let's just say it was quite a shocker when I had all my characters dead and I couldn't, and none of them were at the time to revive. And then I found out that I could pay to revive them. Yeah. So, and so when I was like, okay, well, I can pay to revive them, that was, to me, totally not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Just wow! I can't believe they're making us pay to revive our own characters. Wow! I can't believe it. Really, you're not the only one upset about it. I'm upset about it. In fact, pretty much all the players are upset about it. Lots of us didn't know that originally there was going to be a 24-hour timer on to respawn your character. So 4 hours compared to 24 hours is quite a big difference.
Right.
Which is good, but we're all used to 1 hour, which I liked 1 hour. 1 hour was fantastic. You know, it gave you a bit of time off that character. You could play your other characters and you wouldn't have much problem. And then if you all did die, you'd have like 20 to 10 minutes left maximum.
Right.
Until you could
right.
play again.
At 24 hours, that was too long. And I thought that was pretty cool at first. But then, as often as I die, I no longer thought it was cool. And, you know, even with just trying to run my characters from one place to another, I ended up with all my characters dead. And it was like, what the hell?
It's a big problem with it. I really dislike the 4 hour timer. I mean, you got all these new characters actually coming in. They're dying straight away because they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Or they spawn right next to someone else with a flashlight. And it's like, oh, well, let's be friendly. And then they just bash you because they've worked out that bashing is the thing in the War Z. And after like a few minutes of actually being in the game, all their characters are dead and they can't play for 4 hours. Unless they delete their characters, which, you know, they might not know that it deletes instantly. So they've got to wait 4 hours, or, you know, they might have to go to work and have to wait another day to play the game.
Yeah, that's actually the biggest gripe that I have about this is the fact that when is that a game is for fun. This isn't a simulation game. I played World War II Online, which was a simulation game, and this was many years ago. But when you spawned back in, you spawned at your camp. And the battlefield typically was, 3, 4, 5 miles away from the camp. And you had to run that whole way unless you could get a ride on transport. But a transport was another player that was driving out to the location. And so it took you like 45 minutes to get into battle each time. And sometimes you got there and just bam, you died. But they said this is a simulation. This is not this is not just arcade shooter. And I would reckon that War Z is a lot more like an arcade shooter than it is a simulation.
Yeah.
So they're destroying the fun of it. And a game to me is all about fun.
Exactly.
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching this live, you can ask your questions in Twitch on the chat, and for those of you watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. You do see some other videos going on here, and these are some gameplay of a set of videos that's coming up where we attempted to kill 100 players in one session, and it was a lot of fun, and in fact we're going to replicate it this Saturday. Now, the what kind of advice can we give to Hammerpoint on just us as players, whatnot? What's the number one thing that pops in your mind? I see you kind of light up there.
I'm just trying to think of where to start.
Yeah, okay.
They not so much need to listen to the community, but I think they need to play the game. That's what I feel like they're not doing. They're just kind of making it as they're going along and not really seeing how the game is actually turning out. Like with all these hackers, yeah, it's not an instant thing where you can create an anti-hack, but they can go in these games, check out that, hacking's a huge problem. Most of all the community was hacking, and then they could have, done more about telling us that they're going to be banning hackers. They could have banned them a lot faster than they did, because what the rate they did was ridiculously slow. They allowed the people to hack, and then the people who were dying from the hackers decided to get the hacks because nothing was happening about the hackers. So you ended up with most of the game actually hacking, which, thank goodness, the game's not like now.
Mm-hmm. I did see a video of these hacks, of how they're used and how they're represented, and I thought about showing this video of this, but I decided I didn't really want to promote it. But they could see through walls. They can see where you're at. They see this field of fire things, auto aim. And it talks about auto aim looking more realistic, that it won't just absolutely bam snap to the other side, that it'll actually turn your character like you're to look more real.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was watching a live stream the other night. Now the hacking is way down from what it was. I got to give them credit for that.
Yes.
But I was watching a live stream last night, and there's a guy standing outside the post office on the other side of the wall, and all of a sudden this person standing outside starts shooting at the wall, and I'm like, why are they doing that? And I realized that this guy that was hacking just walked straight through the wall shooting at the other player, and killed him. So there is still hacking issues. I don't think that we can ever get away from that in any game. But
No, now, compared to what it was before, like, you had those no-clippers going through wards in pretty much every server. It wasn't an uncommon thing. But now, you see the one here and there, but you don't see it very often because they are on top of banning them now. Thank goodness. Mm-hmm. So no-clips are actually getting banned. I'm just really worried about the people with wall hacks and ESPs just seeing everything.
Mm-hmm. There is some stuff that they may never be able to fully combat. And now the people who are buying these, paying for these hacks and everything, I guess as long as you have the money to keep buying accounts every time it gets popped. My experience back when I was doing botting with World of Warcraft, which I don't do that kind of stuff anymore, but I have done that in the past. I would I'd run a week and then I'd get popped and stuff, and I just happened to be making more gold than what it cost for a new account, and so the economics were worth it. But so they let's mention that War Z was released on Steam. Now, a couple things have happened, some good and some bad from that. The good from it is that we have a whole bunch more players in there enjoying the game now. The bad is that we have a whole bunch more players in the game that are hating it now.
Are you sure they're enjoying it? Because
Well,
are they actually have they been able to play the game since the 4-hour death timer?
I don't know. But if you go look in the forums right now, every other post is what the is going on with the 4 hours. And I think that they will be changing that. I'm pretty sure.
I'm hoping for it.
Yeah, I can't see that the backlash that's coming from this, that they wouldn't react to that. There's more backlash. I mean, this GameSpy interview. Did you read that GameSpy interview?
Oh, I did. They got ripped up. Sergey got ripped apart.
Yeah, he got ripped a new asshole. There's all kinds of things, all kinds of claims that they made on Steam about the game, and we can just go through some of this stuff. Like they said that there was up to 100 players on a server, and so. We have 100-player servers as of this morning, in case you haven't played yet today. But this is because of this interview, and now there's special setup servers that are at 100. So Sergey says, max players, I'm not sure why this is even an issue. The text clearly states up to 100 players, and which we have, and 50 players, which we have right now. And, he's like, what is it that they said on this interview? The interviewer said, well, what if it was up to 1 million players?
Yeah, what was it up to 1 million? You still got 50-player servers, but what if you had up to 1 million?
And, and so it's like, what is it really right now? I feel like... and this is just my advice, because I am really enjoying the game, but I'm really hating how it's administered. Guys, hire somebody for PR. Hire somebody to take on all of the social communication with the players. You guys are devs. You're doing an awesome job as devs, but, let the people who are good at communicating with the community take on that role and do that for you, and you work with them instead of you trying to do everything. Because what happens is stuff like this, and like the stats that we're seeing, don't they feel just made up?
Completely made up. I can't believe it.
I don't want this to be a Let's Bash War Z video, but you know what? The reason that we're talking about this stuff, because if we didn't care about the game, we would be like, okay, F you, I'm gone, and there'd be one video bitching about it or something like that, and then be done. We'd be on to the next game, and the reason that we've got so many complaints and everything is because we love the game.
Yeah, I absolutely love the game. It's just like the game's fantastic. It's being built. Everything's not out, but it's coming out. They're doing their job. They're developing it, but they're doing so much wrong with it. Like I believe they got good intentions, but they're not seeing what it's actually doing to the game and how it's affecting the game. And all these people, tons and tons of people are upset. Like a ridiculous amount of people upset. I've never seen so much outcry about a game in any other game I played. I've seen some bad game releases and people upset and they want a refund, but this has just gone off the scale and is huge with people backlashing about how they're not liking the game, they're not liking this and that. And it's not just because of DayZ now. Originally, it was about DayZ, how they copied DayZ. Now it's completely off DayZ, and it's how they're doing things now in the game.
Yeah, the scale of the complaints is absolutely enormous. I have never seen a public outcry like this. Well, actually, I have, but it was always a one-time issue. And so they learned from that mistake, they got it right the next time, and they worked very hard not to make a mistake like that again that upset so many of their players. And but the Warzy guys just keep doing it over and over and over again. It's like they're freaking stubbing their toe every time they walk, and you tell them, take off get rid of sandals, put on tennis shoes, so you won't scrape up your toe every time. And they're like, no, I'm just going to run around barefoot. It's just, I can't.
It reminds me of a young kid.
Yeah, they're immature in this. They
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing. And, I got to say, okay, I learned in business that there are some things that I am and there's some things that I am not. And like, I'm good at making money, I'm good at promoting products, I'm good at building a business. I'm not good at managing the money. I know this. This is why I get help with this. And so, in my current business arrangement, I mean, it's working out well. But the fact is that if I didn't have that help where I know that I'm not strong at it, then I'd be Warzy here. I'd just be a disaster. So,
Except without the money.
except without the money, yes. Now, they're making money hand over fist. I estimate that they have over 400,000 people who have purchased the game. And and that's just off of these stats that I feel like get just shot from the hip. They're not, it's like, I don't know that they really do statistical analysis of stuff. They just see some raw numbers and they say, oh, it sounds like it's about this percent. And they just, that's the feeling I get, that they just shoot it off that way. But just from what I've seen, I estimate that they have over 400,000 people that have purchased the game now, which is awesome for the game.
Yeah, it's pretty successful for a small game that started with nothing really.
They're an indie company, aren't they? I mean, I don't know how much they did with the War Inc.
That was quite popular when it came out. I'm not sure about it now because I haven't played it since really the release. But that was actually a little bit popular when it came out. It wasn't like huge, like not everyone heard about it until WarZ came out. So once WarZ came out, everyone heard that they were using the same engine. Fair enough. They should be able to use the same engine. They can change it how they want. They can add things to it. They can change things. They know the engine. That's what they should be using.
Which is part of why this is a great game, because they have experience with this combat system and this whole style. It's just now that the bad guys are not all players. Well, it's mostly bad guys or players in the game. But they added in NPC zombies, and how hard is that to add into an environment? It's not hard at all. They've got some other stuff here. Do you have the list of things that they just published?
The recent patch notes?
Yeah. So I think that there's just one more GameSpy issue that I have. They talk about the map size, and they say up to 400 kilometers on Steam. Well, we only have 100 kilometers, folks, and we won't have a bigger map until next year sometime.
You know what?
What?
Before they released the game, I was like getting all the information and everything for my videos. They said the map size was 160 kilometers square, I believe. Or it was 300 and something. I'm sorry, it's one of those two, but it was like just smaller than DayZ. So it was pretty much DayZ without the water. And to be honest, it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like DayZ's much, much bigger than WarZ. WarZ feels really small because, it still feels like you're running a fair distance. But when you really work it out compared to DayZ, if you play DayZ a lot, you're actually not running far at all.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say.
You haven't played it.
No, I have not. I got a copy of it. Thank you, James. I got to get into the game and actually play it. And I am very much looking forward to the DayZ MMO. Their next version of it, the standalone. I think that'll be really great. But
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
but it's not here yet, so it's not on my focus yet. When I can buy it and I can log in and play it, I will. So now apparently we are out of beta,
Where we had the Foundation release.
which is kind
Apparently-
of kind of weird because I've not. Maybe that's an insider industry term that's not used with the public very much. And maybe it doesn't mean that it's full retail release either. I don't know. But they said that we're out of beta now.
Yeah, they said they're just gonna. The game's never gonna be finished. They're just gonna keep on adding to it and adding to it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, but I still think they need these features before they actually say it's released, like the skill tree. You know, if they're gonna have vehicles in it, I think they should get all these things in it, and then for like future things, they should like just add maps and maybe expand on the skill tree. They need these basic things which they said they're going to add into the game. I think they need them first, and then say, yeah, well, now we're out of alpha or beta, and then we're going to go on to. It's not full release, but we're just going to keep on adding things to it.
I do want to see new content added, new items, new stuff, and I think that
We got Santa hats. What more could
yes,
you want?
I saw somebody beating up somebody else with a candy cane earlier. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. So the World of Tanks, they have this thing where they release a new patch about once a month. And in that, sometimes it'd be really big. They add a whole new, country of tanks. Sometimes they have like one big item for each patch, and they do it really well. And then they have a lot of fixes, and they have a lot of just little niceties and stuff. But they have one big item every time. And so, I could see the future, for War Z being, okay, we're adding in, this month we're adding the skill trees. Next month we're adding vehicles and stuff like that. And I wouldn't mind once a month having something really big like that added to the game and a lot of fixes. It keeps it alive and new, and keeps us engaged. Because you get a little bit bored of it, and you say, ooh, cars. I'm going to go run everybody down. This is going to be Carmageddon now. And I kid you not, it will be the most awesome thing in the world if it's like Grand Theft Auto, where I can launch my car off a ramp, where I can totally cause some mayhem, and like World of Tanks, where I can drive through buildings. I don't think they can do that with this engine, but but if that were the case, we'd all be using vehicles as weapons. Smash up Derby night.
I can see us going over a small hill and taking fall damage.
Oh yeah.
I can totally see that happening. Or just sliding down a hill really slowly, and you get to the bottom, and suddenly, bam! Your car's exploded because of the fall damage that suddenly pops up.
I did see a zombie go underwater recently, which I thought was pretty cool. I shot him, and it was on a hillside, and he just started rolling down the hill, and he kept rolling down into this river to where I could barely see him anymore. And I thought, oh, that was cool. So we got skills. Let's see. They say for the next 4 weeks we got leaderboards that'll be coming in, which could be really interesting. I'm sure you'll be higher than me. I'm just
killing innocent players.
I really want to be a bandit. I'm working toward it. Let's see here. Leaderboards. Rental for Game World and Stronghold servers. What do you think for... Okay, so the Strongholds, I think they said like 16 people can be allowed in. You can allow 16 friends in or something like that.
They're really small.
Yes,
Really,
they are.
really small.
They are, but they're like a... they talk about it being like Farmville in there too, and farming your, resources, or not farming resources, but farming, like growing plants and stuff, so that, I don't know, you can be
I haven't heard that in a long time, but I
a
remember
vegetarian
when
killer.
that was a big thing. That they were like, it was kind of going to be kind of like Farmville.
Well, I actually think that would be great. I told that to Lisa the other day, and she's like, "Oh, I'd do that." I knew she would. She'd be interested in stuff like that. And, I know that it's not part of the main gameplay, but it's like a sub-game. And it provides you with some resources, which I really look forward to. I'm always in need of food and water. What if you could have a water purification system and you could refill water bottles and stuff?
I reckon that'd be decent.
Yeah, you can grow onions and kill people with your bad breath.
Luckily, there's no vampires. Oh, unfortunately, there's no vampires in the game.
Ah, yes. Well, that'd be garlic.
Ah,
Yes. So,
I need to read up on those things.
yeah. So, then let's see the game world now. So we're going to be able to buy our own server, I guess.
Yes, hopefully with the clan money. I hope they implement that. I remember they did have a survey saying how we wanted to buy the servers, if we wanted to actually pay real money or use our gold coins.
I think it's a very good idea to use gold coins.
Yeah, I
Very
think that's
good.
the way they do it. They don't need to have two separate things. You just need to buy the gold coins, and then you can spend them on whatever you want. So if you have spare gold coins over, you can actually spend them on your game server instead of just having them sit there and then having to pay again for a game server if you already
Right.
have the money on your account.
Right. I mean, maybe if people want to just be auto billed every month on their credit card for their game server or whatever, that they should offer that as well. But other people won't want to do that, and with the gold coins, we can all chip in. So it can be a community effort.
That's what we're doing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. And so with the game world, what are your hopes for these game worlds? Like what
Stronghold servers.
No, not the Stronghold, but the game world. It'd be like our own server. It'd be like the Marquee Dragon server, or whatever. So I go there to get slaughtered. What are your hopes for that? Would it be just a regular game world, but we control the amount of population, or?
Well, I do believe they're charging on how many slots you want on the server. Fair enough. That's with pretty much every game server that I've come across. I don't know what to expect. I just expect the game to be as it is now. It's just going to be another server on the list. Everything's going to be the same, except I don't know. They're still talking about PVE and private servers, which I'm not really too happy about for our private servers where people can just go constantly loot the best things.
Yeah, if there's a PVE server, PVE should not be able to enter PvP.
That's right.
And vice versa. Or you can go from PvP into PvE and it's a transfer, but it's one way. Something like that. I think that fine, if people want PvE and that's what they want and everything, give them some of those servers, but they need to be separate. And need to be separate characters and everything. And maybe it's a whole other character set. Maybe we have a PvP set and a PvE set or something. I don't know. But all I know is I don't want them to mix.
They've also got hardcore.
You're
I think
right.
they've just updated it so that hardcore characters actually get deleted or something when you die. I think they just updated that. But there's really no point on having a hardcore character at all
No.
when you don't get any benefit at all. It's the same as having casual, except your guy disappears.
Right. Well, and now I gotta say, I die so often that because I can die, I can be sneaking up on somebody else, I can be doing anything I want to, and I get sniped from a mountainside. I mean, simple as that. Yeah. Simple as that, and then my hardcore character's gone. I don't find the value in a hardcore character right now because you die so easily. If a hardcore character maybe had triple the health or something, no, I'm serious. Then maybe that would be different. But
Originally, they were going to have their own hardcore servers, which they could join in. There was better loot or something.
right, it would be like every gun has max ammo and stuff like that.
No, it's they just had a better chance of loot, but then they could still go into the normal servers and shoot people with those guns. So the hardcore characters could go into the normal character servers, but the normal characters couldn't go into the hardcore servers.
So you go into the hardcore, you build your character up, and then you pop into a general population server and kill everybody.
Well, or you die and lose all the time you wasted.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that might be fun. I don't know.
I reckon if you just played on the hardcore server, that'd be alright. Like, if you didn't really mix the normal and the hardcore, I reckon if you stayed hardcore, you stayed in hardcore servers, that'd be alright because you'd be against other people who, once they died, that's it for them. They're not going to be running around corners just, going all Call of Duty guns blazing on them. They're going to be actually like hiding behind trees and like scoping out these towns, making sure the zombies aren't going to get them, because once they die, that's their character gone. Where in this softcore, they're just running around, running to a town, not much worry at all, because if you die, well, now there's a 4-hour timer on it, but before there was like 1 hour. It wasn't really much of a worry at all.
I had a hardcore character, and I ended up deleting him. So, because it just wasn't really, there was just no incentive. So, now they also talked about that they've banned a whole bunch of players, and they say they have zero tolerance for hackers. Good, I'm glad. And he says they'll fight them as hard as we can. They said over the last week they banned 3,000 players. And he says that's less than 1% of our active players, which that's where I get my my number that they've sold more than 300,000 accounts. And I know that a lot of people who bought it aren't still active. And so that's where I come up with my estimate that they've sold at least 400,000 players, or 400,000 copies of the game. Now, so a few hundred of them were banned. Let's see, using exploits, and then they adjusted their system because they were banning innocent players. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, there was one spot on top of a roof where if you jumped on like a table, they'd put an item up on top of the roof where, only hackers should be able to get it. Because they put these items all around where hackers would, pick up these items, and if they picked them up, they're obviously hacking. But they had this one item which actually normal players could actually get. And, it usually spawn items which people would usually want, like, rare weapons and, night vision, money. But, these players could get it, and they were getting banned.
Right.
But I don't think it was actually too many there.
Yeah, they said they unbanned all of them, and they had 2 or 3 days where they weren't able to play, and they gave them 700 gold coins in compensation.
Well,
Okay.
I actually heard a bunch of hackers actually just got unbanned anyway, even though they were hacking.
Oh.
Yeah, so I reckon they're just... Unless they got like hard proof that you're like no clipping or speed hacking, which are like two major things which they can detect. If you're like doing things which, maybe you're hacking, it wasn't too easy to prove that you were, they'd just unban you. That's what I reckon. Or they don't want all these people chasing refunds on them, which I know a lot of people are doing.
It's hard to say. So, now, he also, in his last update, addresses all the hate toward War Z. And, golly, quit spending time addressing the hate and just do a better job. And then the hate will go away.
This has been happening since the beginning.
I
First
know.
with a YouTuber that called it a scam. Going through that whole thing, that was painful. I can't believe how much time they actually spent on that.
Well, they're passionate about... so Sergey definitely is passionate about the game. Otherwise, you can tell that this really bothers him because he spends so much time on it. And... Yeah, so and he has some interesting stats here. So they say that they did do some refunds, and they did a survey last Wednesday, and they got 100,000 replies. And let's see, an overall
Over.
approval rate of 93%. That's an insane number. 40% just like the game as is. 50% like the game, but still feel it needs polishing. Yes, server rentals. 5.5% didn't like it, and only 1.5% of the respondents, some of the guys who have been recently banned, said they hate the game. So do they, I thought that these surveys were anonymous. Actually, they must not be anonymous.
I think it's complete bullcrap. 93% of the players approve the game.
I approve of the game. I do not approve of the game administration. I have to say that.
Yes, but with all this hate, do you really reckon that 93% of it improve when there is like a ridiculous hate amount? Even in the game while we're playing, people are complaining.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that is a ridiculously high number of people who like the game, especially now on Steam, and over 100,000 replies. I think that's still a bit much for the amount of active accounts it seems that there are in the games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I do take time to fill out those surveys whenever I start up the game when they pop up. I have been taking the time to do that, but.
And then you got to think that you will do it, I'll do it. A few others will do it, but there'll be a lot just like quick no, and that's it. That's the end of it for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still think they're bodging up stats a lot, just to make the game sound a lot better than it actually is.
As somebody who's, we've talked about their actions somehow seeming immature, and that would be something that a kid would do, like Casper. Casper. He said that. When I asked him how old he was after he killed us, he said he was 15. And you go and look at his Facebook, and clearly he is not 15. He's 10 or 11. And, so he just wanted the numbers to sound better. And so he just stated something that sounded better.
Yeah, I had a lot of those with my Minecraft server. A lot of kids just wanting to get in. They're like 10, 8, 9. But they'd say they're like 15 or something, because I had a set limit on the server because... you can't really have like under 13-year-olds playing with all these adults and everything. There's like some legal stuff which I don't really want to get into. But you can't have these younger kids playing on these multiplayer servers.
Yeah.
And so all these kids were actually playing. They come in, they tell me that, oh, I'm only 9. And then you'd be like, well, you shouldn't have told me that. And then you have to ban them.
I know that whole issue there. So... what is it? They also have let's see here. They have some stats about. Let's see. What is it? They say that the 1.5% who really don't like the game. Look at this. They defend the 1.5%. I mean, come on. The 80-20 rule. 80% of the people will like whatever you're doing. 20% will never like it, no matter what you do. And so, statistically speaking, just who cares about the 1.5%? But here's what they got to say about the 1.5% because of these other numbers. 30% of our players played DayZ. 70% of our players never played DayZ. 5% of our players never heard of DayZ before they started looking into the War Z. It means most of our players are new to this genre of zombie survival game, and or they don't even play War Z because they've been fans of DayZ or even played it. I don't get what that has to do with anything, why that matters to us. I don't care who played DayZ that's playing this. That's an internal number that they use for marketing. It's not for us. He's not speaking to us. He's speaking to himself to make himself feel better.
I think what he's trying to say is that, this 30% of the players who played DayZ are so against the game because, DayZ came first. A little bit later he says, like, extreme DayZ fanboys. He really envies them for DayZ having such loyal players. But I think he's just really trying to blame them saying that they're doing all this bad publicity in showing these stats and everything.
Oh man. So I think that oh, and then number 5 on here. Oh my god. This one really gets my goat. And yes, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Take some time off. Don't worry about programming more features. But don't implement shit that people are really upset about as you walk out the door. The whole 4-hour thing and then paying to revive your characters and stuff. I mean, honestly, let's add this stuff and then walk out the door.
I think they're trying to make some extra bucks before they remove it if they do. Like, everyone's going to be annoyed about this. They're going to pay for it, and then we're going to come back and be the good guys and remove it.
I think that it should just change. I don't mind. I never did mind the 1-hour time limit. I thought that was okay. And if they want to add in a feature that improves it by allowing us to pay 50 gold coins to get that character right back in the game, then I approve of that. But nerfing it to where it's a 4-hour span now as opposed to the 1 hour, I selected 1 hour on that survey, but the fact is what they did is they actually took away a feature and then added a bypass around it that was a detriment to the players. So if they had just left it 1 hour and then added the thing to buy back for gold coins for 50 gold coins, you know what? The other day, last night, I tried to use it because I died and I had all this loot there, and I knew that I would respawn at the spawn point near where I died, and so I tried to instantly res myself with money, and it didn't work. It gave me error code 6. But it was... I don't know. It's just in that fashion, it's a mistake. And then to take off, say, see you, everybody. I'm closing the door. I'm not going to listen to anything for the next couple of weeks. I think they're going to have to listen.
Yeah.
And it would be an easy change to change that timer from 1 hour or from 4 hours back to 1. And
yeah, I think if they got the buyback for 1 hour, I still reckon it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 hours, that's what I have a problem with mostly. The 4-hour waiting time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the 4-hour waiting time is too much. I can't, this Saturday we're gearing up to do another big live show that's going to start Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to go out on this killing spree. I want us to hit 100 kills in this killing spree, player kills. And so, but I'm thinking with how often I died in the last session that we did, it was... I'm not sure. I'm going to have to buy my way back in on some of them.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky, and I bought 2 accounts. So I reckon when we're doing this, I'm going to go through that first account, and they're all going to be dead, and I'm not going to be able to use them. And then I'm probably going to go for that second account, and they most likely will all be dead too, and I'll have to wait like an hour or 2 to play the game again. Mm-hmm. And that's what I can see happening with all of us actually playing, because the respawn time is so long. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even with 2 accounts.
It's going to be a detriment to our play session. It's going to penalize us for playing more. Oh my god, that's what pisses me off. They are penalizing us for being their biggest frickin' fans. For playing more.
Enjoying the game.
Oh my god. Yeah. So, okay. Well, any final comments before we wrap this up, Jesse?
I still have one more thing to talk about, if that's all right.
Okay, let's do it.
Well, if you get a refund with the War Z, they're saying that they're going to put you on a global blacklist of non-trusted users for some service that may refuse you in the future if you pay them for stuff.
Okay. And that is for asking for a refund?
Or
is that for doing a reversal?
That's for getting a refund.
Interesting. Now I can tell you that in our company, our store, if you do a reversal on us, yes, you're blacklisted, and yes, it is shared with others.
Yeah, I can completely understand about with that. That's fine. But
Yeah, but with asking for a refund, you're blacklisted. That is bullshit. That is strong arming people into not asking for a refund. That's intimidation. That's the customer being the enemy. The customer is the enemy, and that's, golly, Sergey, get it through your thick skull. Get somebody who works with the public to help you at least filter these decisions. If you want to be the front man and be the one out there talking about it and everything, fine. But get some help with what the public perception of this is going to be, because I think that the public perception is really, really bad. Now, good press or bad press, it's all good press in most cases. But I think that they're teetering now on being hated.
Yeah. Also, another thing which just popped up in the chat. Thank you for reminding me. The Metacritic page. So you know how games have Metacritic and people rate them and everything. Have you seen the War Z one?
I have not.
It's
currently.
currently.
Do they have? Oh, so they have a link here. A user score of 1.5. What is that out of
10.
1 out of 10. Oh my God.
I know.
Well, there's no place to go but up. Here, let me see if I can add that on the screen here so you can all see this. Add screen region and the War Z. So, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so this is the thing here. So summary, it has been that's just a talking about the game. So 1.5, 603 ratings, overwhelming dislike, and wow, isn't that incredible? Isn't that just incredible? So,
I wonder if it's lost.
If it's what?
Because that's if it's lost.
Oh,
That's pretty low.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never actually been to this site before. I've heard about it before, but I've never actually been here. But I think that now that I'm here, I'm going to sign up and give my score. And when they fix things, I'll improve the score if I can do an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that we can do the temperature of this. And so, in fact, for those of you in the chat room, the link is already in there. And those of you watching on YouTube, I'll include a link to this in the description. So,
I heard Sergey was actually asking people to do this. Oh, they were also doing it for MMORPG, the website for that, to get people to upvote that so they could get more attention. Reddit posts, like how to develop a lied. He was asking people to upvote that as well. And there was one other thing, but I can't remember it. But they're asking these people to do these things, and it's completely backfiring. I don't know when they're going to realize that posting these things on Facebook and everything, most of the posts on Facebook are actually negative comments. So they're not really getting anything good out of this, just negative stuff.
It is more attention. But, there is theories that say more attention gets you more sales. But they're teetering on being so hated that they're going to be going into like this infamy status, and it
might go down as the worst MMO to ever come out.
Or the worst debacle of the administration of an MMO ever, because the MMO is great, the leaders are not. The game has greatness.
I'm still not sure it's an MMO.
Oh no, neither am I. It is massive multiplayer online, but to be massive in the fact of it, I I don't know how many players have to be in one simultaneous game world to be qualified as massive.
Well, with the Steam page, they're saying that it's going to be up to 100. So originally they said it's going to be 250 players. You can understand kind of then, but now it's just 100.
I think that actually that when they come out with the server rentals that we can do, that we're going to be able to do the 250, and that's what's going to set our servers apart. But it's probably going to be extremely expensive.
Well, time will see.
Yeah, and that could be a lot of fun for a killing fest. But I'll let somebody else buy a 250 pop server or whatever before I consider investing in something like that. And we got to be able to see the return out of it, not just the glory from having our name. Unless I could, I don't know, maybe promote my YouTube channel. That could be the name of the server. YouTube : Marky Dragon. Something like that. But then
250 player kill fest.
Yeah, but they probably wouldn't allow that either. So, but now if they could allow some other stuff like some sort of ghosting mode, to where you could watch the action, give you like an administrator thing to where you could just view action and maybe not interact with it.
I don't think they'll do that because of people like just telling their clan mates where other people are.
That's true. But wouldn't that be fun to see the firefights break out and be able to record that and have like a top-down overview and it's like sitting up in a tree or something.
Excellent footage from like all these angles, which you really can't get in the game at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, well, Jesse, thank you very much. For those of you who are watching this live, do check out this other video, which I'm posting in chat right now. This is what I did last night about what the hell just happened, except I used an F word instead of hell. And, it's this whole thing that got sprung on us yesterday. And, in fact, I'll just put an annotation at the end of this video here. I was going to run, one of my other videos at the end here, but I'll just do my intro music. I'll put in an annotation here to this other video because I think it's worth seeing about what they did to us with adding the money grubbing and the 4-hour limit and how they just love us fans. So, and check out Jesse's page. He's a link. He's Sly Jesse on YouTube, and so both of us are posting gameplay stuff. Check it out. Jesse, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been fun.
Yes, it's nice being here.
Yeah, so go check out his page, and now check out the link to this other video right here.
You like that, don't you? Eyebrows are even black. Have my aunt put it on. Makeup. Yeah, it's not really dyed. The eyebrows aren't. Yeah, like these. I was listening to dubstep before a lot of you were wearing diapers, alright? Which means before you were born!